Wang Cheng now possessed 3 special abilities, equivalent to 3 level 1 awakened beings, which naturally made him stand out. At this moment, Wang Cheng was unsure whether to feel happy or not. The abilities of this unknown type of special serum were similar to what he had guessed. They were indeed extraordinary powers. However, his ability was quite different from Chunlan's. Chunlan's power was a pure fireball, while Wang Cheng's ability to ignite his hands had an explosive feel, more akin to those 2 mutated giant birds, with a higher temperature. After just 1 use, Wang Cheng's hands were already covered in blood, feeling weak and nearly powerless. Moreover, the usage of this ability seemed very limited. After just 2 uses, Wang Cheng clearly felt an overwhelming fatigue. The burning sensation within him had vanished, as if the energy had been depleted, leaving him with a feeling akin to being drained. As far as he knew, individuals like Su Xinghai and Chunlan could use their abilities dozens of times in a day. However, he was too lazy to waste words explaining this to the two. After assessing his own situation, he immediately raised his head to observe the mutated brown bear. The bear was retreating step by step, howling continuously, its massive paws slamming on the ground in a frantic attempt to extinguish the flames, while it was under a combined attack from the military and the 2 mutated giant birds. Seeing those 2 mutated giant birds made Wang Cheng's mouth twitch slightly. Nonetheless, he also heard a system prompt in his ear. Dear host, special mutated entity detected. Hunting it can yield special serum and 50 energy points. This was clearly referring to the mutated brown bear, but what surprised Wang Cheng was that despite the bear's 10-meter height, it was worth fewer energy points than the much smaller mutated giant birds. Could it be because it couldn't breathe fire? Wang Cheng noticed that although the mutated brown bear was large in size, it didn't seem to possess any extraordinary abilities. It had just been pushed back by Wang Cheng's strike and was now being attacked by military soldiers and a mutated giant bird, leaving it battered and bruised. Especially when the giant bird breathed fire at it, the bear could only block with its arms, screaming in pain as it rolled in the smoke to extinguish the flames. The 3 giant creatures were engaged in fierce combat, and the desperate situation had somewhat eased. However, the surrounding chaos remained. Wang Cheng had temporarily repelled the bear's frenzied attacks, buying some time for everyone, but the panic among the survivors was overwhelming, causing them to run blindly and create significant trouble for the military. The smoke and flames obscured visibility, making it hard to distinguish who was who. Sometimes, even when a mutated creature was right in front of them, it was only then they could barely recognize it. At that moment, Zhang Chao, who had been nearby, pushed through the smoke and ran back with an officer. The officer was astonished and looked at Wang Cheng, asking, "Was that you just now? You?" He could hardly believe that the person he had deemed hopeless due to a high fever and deep coma had turned around and repelled the mutated bear. Zhang Chao, more concerned about Wang Cheng's injuries, said, "That's great. I knew you'd be fine. Your hand looks terrible. We need to get out of here. We don't know where the boss got scattered off to. We have to find him and retreat together." Wang Cheng's injuries looked severe, but he knew they were just ruptured capillaries causing significant bleeding, which was nothing compared to the dangers of this era. He was about to say something when he was slightly startled. Turning his head, he saw the girl had somehow approached and was holding his bloody injured arm. The spot where she gripped felt cold, but somewhat comforting. In this apocalyptic world, after struggling for so long, Wang Cheng had become extremely vigilant and hadn't even noticed how she had gotten there. The girl raised her innocent face, her expression unusually serious. "Are you really a level 2 awakened? How did you achieve level 2? Do you know? Right now, all awakened are stuck at level 1 because no one knows the path to level 2. This girl seemed to be more than just the daughter of a powerful family. She was quite remarkable. However, Wang Cheng didn't have time for idle chatter. His natural resentment towards the rich surfaced, and he shook his head, saying, "I'm not a level 2 awakened. You're overthinking it. Zhang Chao, you stay with these soldiers. I need to go back. My vehicle is still up ahead." That warship was his most important possession and couldn't he be left behind. Moreover, as Wang Cheng watched the 3 giant mutated creatures fighting, an astonishing plan formed in his mind. Each of these creatures was worth at least 50 energy points or more. If he could take advantage of their battle and manage to kill them, not only could he eliminate future threats, but also gain a significant amount of energy points. Zhang Chao immediately said, "I'll go with you." Wang Cheng shook his head and said, "You go find the boss and stay with the military. I will join you. Trust me, if you keep talking, there won't be enough time." As he spoke, Wang Cheng's gaze turned to the officer and asked, "Can you give me 2 grenades?" The officer was taken aback. Until this day, he had never encountered someone so insane. Previously, he had been both surprised and impressed by Zhang Chao and Su Xinghai's determination to not give up on Wang Cheng. That kind of behavior was at least understandable. But now, Wang Cheng's actions were beyond his comprehension. In such a situation, when there was finally a chance to escape, why would one go back for a vehicle or try to fight their way back? Wasn't that madness? Was a vehicle more important than a life? Going back now would be like seeking death. It seemed Wang Chung sensed his thoughts and quickly said, I know what I'm saying is hard to understand. But those monsters are just around the corner, and there are swarms of mutated creatures behind us. We don't have time. Give me 2 grenades. And I will help you attract the mutated creatures and the giant monsters. This will only benefit all of you, and my brothers will stick with you. You can rest assured, I will do my utmost. The officer was increasingly dumbfounded, and the awakened security personnel beside him looked on in shock. He suddenly realized how foolish and ridiculous it was to showcase strength against this man earlier. These people were simply insane, yet behind their madness was a chilling confidence. The officer took a deep look at Wang Chung and could see that this man was not joking, not boasting, and certainly not mad. There seemed to be a deeper purpose behind what appeared to be a crazy act. But as Wang Chung said, the situation was urgent and chaotic. If he could go back and attract the attention of the mutated creatures, it would undoubtedly be a huge help to them. After 2 seconds of silence, the officer unfastened 3 tactical grenades from his waist and handed them to Wang Chung, saying, There's a grain store 2 streets ahead. If all goes well, we will wait for you there until dawn. In recent days, he had seen all kinds of people while rescuing survivors, some terrified, some chaotic and malicious, and even some self-reliant and strong. But he had never seen a survivor who remained so calm and made plans in such a situation. He felt Wang Chung was a talent and considered trying to recruit him since the military was in need of capable people. Wang Chung nodded and turned toward the dilapidated hot pot restaurant behind him. Zhang Chao gritted his teeth, chose to listen to Wang Chung, and followed the officer to meet up with Su Xinghai to gather survivors and retreat in an orderly manner. To Wang Cheng's surprise, the girl also followed him, her short skirt fluttering as she closely trailed behind. As Wang Chung moved quickly, he couldn't help but pause slightly and frowned, asking, What are you doing? Why are you following me? The girl bit her lip and replied, You are a level 2 awakened one, incredibly precious. I can't let anything happen to you. Wang Chung was speechless. He wanted to say, With a young lady like you following me, who is more likely to get into trouble? Don't you have any idea? He had never thought much of the girl, and at this moment, he merely frowned and coldly said, If you want to follow me, think carefully. If something happens to you, I won't have the time to take care of you. Life and death are fated. You should accept your lot. The girl raised her fair face, her pure features revealing a firm determination. I understand. Don't worry, I won't be a burden to you. Chapter 48. The power of upgraded grenades. Wang Chung felt somewhat annoyed. Why was this girl so insistent on following him? Clearly, there were others providing protection, and they were nearing a safe state, yet she insisted on trailing behind him like a little tail. As Wang Chung moved through the ruins, he raised his gun and shot down a mutated creature. Under the fierce firepower of his shotgun, the creature's head exploded, blood spraying out in a fan shape as it collapsed to the ground. Wang Chung glanced back. The girl was closely following him, surprisingly agile as she navigated the debris. His impression of her was not very good, and at this moment, he found her behavior baffling. He had stated that they should accept their fates, so he wouldn't actively look after her. He himself was in danger, so how could he find the time to worry about someone else? After passing through the half-collapsed hot pot restaurant's ruins, Wang Chung narrowly avoided being hit by a falling beam. Fortunately, his quick reflexes and the strength gained from an injected serum allowed him to push the beam aside, or he would have been in serious trouble. Once he returned to the street in front of the hot pot restaurant, he noticed that the area had completely changed. The ground was shattered. The once clean asphalt road and brick sidewalks were completely destroyed, with cracks in the earth and rubble everywhere. Flames flowed across the ground as if alive, igniting abandoned vehicles and the remnants of buildings on the street. Some mutated creatures were also set ablaze, running wildly like torches, howling continuously, until they were crushed underfoot with a loud thud. 3 giant creatures were battling fiercely in the area, and Wang Chung quickly moved forward, immediately spotting his small warship parked by the roadside. His Wuling ship was compact and had strong impact resistance. Although it was covered in debris, it was mostly unharmed. Wang Chung advanced toward it, holding a grenade in one hand, slowly infusing energy points to upgrade the grenade. Earlier, in the dormitory building, he had upgraded a toy grenade to a standard high-explosive grenade, reaching level 1. Now, he held a real grenade in his hand, and the next upgrade would elevate it to level 2. Upgrading from a toy grenade to a real grenade required 5 energy points, while further upgrading a real grenade required 10 energy points, doubling the requirement. Wang Cheng's gaze flickered as the grenade in his palm slowly transformed. He rushed to his Wuling, opened the door, and sat down inside. However, the girl behind him did not follow because just as she attempted to catch up, a mutated brown bear was knocked down by 2 giant birds, crashing to the ground and cutting off her path back to Wang Chung. She stood amidst the ruins, her slender figure swaying under the flickering flames. She looked to be about the same age as the capital, captivating and delicate, creating a poignant scene